So now I'm going to talk a little bit about getting into the Akashic Records and how to actually do that. I mentioned in another video there is something called the pathway prayer process, which is a prayer I learned about through a woman named Linda Howe. But there are many ways to get into the Akashic Records. It's basically using a frequency to access the high frequency of this dimension. And so you may wonder, well, who am I talking to in the Akashic Records? Well, the way I was trained at least is you're talking to the masters, teachers, and loved ones. Masters are light entities. They've never had physical bodies, never been human or incarnated. They exist only in the Akashic Records, and they have been with you throughout all of your lifetimes as a soul. So each time you incarnate, you will meet with your masters and you will have a conversation about what are the lessons you want to work on in this lifetime. Who are the people you're going to incarnate with as part of your soul group who are going to help you learn these lessons. The teachers are often spiritual teachers who will sometimes show up in the Akashic Records, people who are associated with specific religions, who have lived before. They can be like Jesus or Yoginanda or Mother Mary, or they can be people who are not as well known that are there to help teach you something about your life. Loved ones also can show up in the Akashic Records for your own soul or for somebody else. They don't exist in there, but they can come in there as it applies to help you in your life. So if there's a lesson you're working on and your grandmother or great-grandmother or grandfather or whoever it is wants to help you with that, they will show up and give you some guidance. I will say that I don't always know who I'm talking to when I'm in the Akashic Records. I can sense that there are beings around, and if I call my attention to it, which is all about intention, intending to see who you're talking to, sometimes I do see people or figures that seem like they're the masters or just a group of entities, people that are around me. So when you're in the records, though, it seems like you're pulling out a file, like a giant file, when you're looking at a life, because in the records are often past lives. Our past lives are stored in there, and other people's past lives are stored in there. So often when we go in the records, when I do reading, I will get shown a past life for somebody, or at least one, as it pertains to their question that they have or to whatever life lesson they're working on. So these files, they're files of light. They're kind of like if you go in a store and you're flipping through posters. They're like that, but you can sense it being pulled out, which sometimes I see that, sometimes I don't. The Akasha itself feels like dense fog of light that you kind of push through. It feels a little heavier than that. It's a substance, and it is endless. It goes on forever, and you can move into different areas to see what comes up there.